I don't know how you feel when someone tells you, hey, I prayed for you, or I have been praying for you, or I will pray for you. I don't know your feeling about that, but normally if someone tells me, hey, I prayed for you, or I'm praying for you, there's something special that happens in my heart. And maybe you have to think, when was the last time that someone told me, I'm praying for you? Well, in my case, the last time was yesterday. And actually, this person sent a message and said, this morning I prayed for you. And that made my day. That made me feel that, okay, I'm not alone in my spiritual battle, in my work, in my studies, in my challenges in life. I am not alone. And I think this is one of the main messages that we get from intercessory prayer. Sometimes we're so focused on ourselves, on what we want, on the things that we need to accomplish, that we forget about other people. And this aspect, this facet of prayer, which is intercession, makes a difference in the life of the believer, because you start to focus on others and what God can do for others instead of focusing only on yourself. And Jesus, who is our example, uh, set a very high standard when it comes to intercessory prayer. As a matter of fact, if you go with me to John chapter 17, and I want to mention the version that I'm reading for, in this case, the New American Standard Bible, you see that there's a heading um, for chapter 17 that I couldn't agree with more: the high priestly prayer. And this tells you something. Jesus, as the high priest, prays for us, and he prayed um, when dinner was over at the upper room, and as they were moving to the Garden of Gethsemane, he was praying. And if we go to the SDA Bible commentary, it tells us that this prayer divides naturally into three parts. First, Jesus prayed for himself. Jesus prayed for the disciples, those who were around him, and he prayed for all believers. And that's where I want to go, because I think Jesus, at that time, before the cross, before he died, before he sacrificed himself for you and for me, he prayed for us. And I want to read for you what John chapter 17 tells us. Let's read together John chapter 17, verses 20 and 21. I do not ask, says Jesus, on behalf of these alone. He's talking about his disciples, but for those also who believe in me through their word. So the disciples were to go out and preach, and other people would believe. And here we are. We are the Gentiles. We are those who believed because missionaries came to our land, right? That they may all be one, even as you, Father, are in me and I in you, that they also may be in us, so that the world may believe that you sent me. What a powerful intercessory prayer. Jesus is saying, I not only pray for those who are around me right now, I pray for those who will believe. I pray for Roger. I pray for his parents. I pray for the people in Thailand. I pray for those from Cambodia, those who will believe in me. I pray that they may understand that there's a very strong connection between you and me, Father, Jesus says, but I want them to be connected to us. I want them to be in me as I am in you. And this is the power of intercessory prayer. Of course, there's no time in a devotional thought to talk about the deep implications, the deep theological implications of this passage, but let me just put it simple. In a moment of sorrow, in a moment of difficulty, as the one Jesus is experiencing, because this is Thursday night, and Jesus is going to die on the cross in a few hours, in less than a day. In a moment like this, Jesus prayed for you and for me. And I get goosebumps when I tell you this because how unselfish Jesus was and is in order to do this. And the question for us is, are we willing to pray for others? Are we willing to care for others, even though we have our own struggles, we have our own problems? Can we put that aside for a moment and intercede for others? I think this is the message of the text for you and for me in the 21st century. Of course, we need to pray for ourselves. We need to pray for transformation, but sometimes we need to put aside the things that we are dealing with, and we need to worry about others, and we need to care spiritually for others. So today, I have an invitation for you. Think of someone that might need prayer, and I think everyone needs prayer. And throughout the day, pray for this person. And before 5 p.m., pass by his her office, or if we're talking about a student, maybe you have to find him, or maybe you have to send an email or a message and tell someone today, hey, I prayed for you. In that way, you can be part of Jesus as Jesus is a part of the Father. May God bless you this morning.